Welcome to Wisdom Planet, wisdom worth spreading. Happy listening. Today, I want to talk to you all about the book Die with Zero, Getting All You Can from Your Money and Your Life. This is a book on financial literacy education. As you may know, books of this genre in the market are usually about how to make money. However, Die with Zero is different. It focuses on an interesting question: how to spend money in order to live a life without regrets. This book has been translated into 9 mainstream languages, including Chinese, German, Japanese, and Spanish, and has become a global bestseller. The author of the book, Bill Perkins, is a very interesting person. He studied engineering in college, and after graduating, he first worked in the finance industry on Wall Street. Later, he co-founded a hedge fund with his friends and also ventured into film production, participating in the production of several commercial films. Although his later career seems to have little direct connection to his engineering background, the engineering training he received during college has made him accustomed to using an engineering mindset to solve problems in life and work. For example, the topic discussed in the book, How to Spend Money Without Regrets, may sound like a profound philosophical question, but the author approaches it from an engineering perspective, transforming it into an optimization problem. Specifically, it is about maximizing the sense of happiness throughout one's life while minimizing waste. Perkins has been pondering this question since his graduation from university, and over the course of the following 20 years in society, he gradually developed a comprehensive system of thinking. In this book, he provides 9 guidelines. The main body of the book consists of 9 chapters that revolve around these 9 guidelines. I have also included these 9 guidelines in the document, so if you have time, you can take a look. 1. Optimize your life. 2. Invest in experiences. 3. Why die with zero? 4. How to spend your money without actually hitting zero before you die. 5. What about the kids? 6. Balance your life. 7. Start to time bucket your life. 8. Know your peak. 9. Be bold, not foolish. 9. It's a bit too many, not easy to remember. But after reading the book, I realized that they can actually be further summarized into 2 main principles. First, emphasize experience investment, which corresponds to the maximization of happiness in optimization problems. Second, pursue zero before death, which corresponds to the minimization of waste in optimization problems. At first listen, these 2 things may sound a bit strange. Don't worry, let's explain them below and discuss how they work in practice. You can decide how to use them based on your own situation. Part 1. First, let's look at the first principle, which is to focus on experiential investment. The meaning is very simple. Find things that make you happy and then spend money to experience them. It sounds like this principle is quite obvious. Why does the author still need to specifically remind us? He said that this is because many people do not have enough awareness of the importance of experience in our lives. The author talks about an example involving his father. In the years leading up to his father's passing, his physical strength greatly declined and he lost a lot of joy in life. So, the author gave him a special gift: a tablet computer with several videos stored in it, showcasing some highlights from his father's participation in rugby matches when he was young. The father was extremely surprised and held onto the tablet, repeatedly watching the videos, seeing his young self and his former teammates, reliving the memories of that time. Sometimes he laughed, sometimes he cried. Later, he told the author that it was the best gift he had ever received. This makes the author deeply realize one thing: life is a process of constantly collecting memories, and in the end, the only thing that can accompany us is memories. And where do these memories come from? They come from your previous life, the experiences you have had every day, every week, every month, every year, or even once in a lifetime. For example, the first date with a lover, a spontaneous backpacking trip, a victorious competition with friends, and so on. The author emphasizes in the book multiple times, your life is the sum of your experiences. When we grow older and look back on our lives, what we feel, the fulfillment of our own lives, actually depends on the richness of our life experiences. The author also found that many times, people only focus on the value-added effect of money, while neglecting the value-added effect of experiences. The appreciation effect of money is easy to understand. For example, if you save $100 and let it accumulate interest over many years, it will become more money. And similarly, experiences also have this added value effect. We invest time or money to obtain experiences, and the rewards we reap are not just the immediate feelings, but also a continuous stream of dividends. For example, have you ever had this experience? On an ordinary day, you suddenly hear a song you used to love playing from a roadside speaker, or in an inconspicuous restaurant, you taste a flavor from your childhood memories, or in a corner of your home, you come across an old videotape, or a vintage photograph, or your phone's photo album reminds you of this day 3 years ago, showing you scenes and events you captured. At that moment, those past experiences surge back, making you feel nostalgic, blush, rejoice, or shed tears. Therefore, each experience brings you not only temporary feelings, but also additional experiences, when you revisit it, or discuss it with others in your future life. This is the added value effect of experiences. This is also why, in books, authors refer to investing time or money in experiences as a form of investment. Furthermore, they believe that the returns from such investments are more valuable than monetary returns. This is because money is renewable and possessions are replaceable, but the feelings and experiences that come from these investments are often unique and irreplaceable. Therefore, the author suggests that we should focus on investment experience. This is a fundamental path to achieving maximization of happiness throughout our lives. So, does this mean that all we need to do is figure out what makes us feel happy and then spend money freely to experience it? It's not that simple. The book reminds us that timing is crucial when it comes to experiencing things. For example, the author talks about a past event. When he was in his early 20s, he had a roommate named Jason who was around the same age. At that time, Jason made a bold decision to take a 3-month vacation and go backpacking in Europe. After returning from the trip, Jason shared with the author the photos he took and various experiences. For example, in Paris, he spent a very pleasant afternoon with new friends in the park, eating baguettes with cheese and red wine. On the Greek islands, he fell in love with a girl and they wandered together on the beach in the evening. He also met many locals and young travelers from different countries, learning about various cultures, and feeling that his world had been completely opened up. The author envied Jason a lot and regretted not going with him. In the following days, he often thought about when he would also travel to Europe. However, it seemed like the timing was never right. Either he felt like he didn't have the time, or he needed to save more money. Finally, at the age of 30, the author went to Europe, but he realized that he couldn't replicate many of Jason's experiences. He couldn't stay in youth hostels, and couldn't hang out with young people anymore. Moreover, due to the increased workload, he was forced to shorten his travel time. In the end, he sighed with some regret, if only I had gone earlier. The author tells this story to express that our ability to enjoy various experiences changes at different stages of life. Just like a trip to Europe, a 5-year-old child may not remember anything about it. A 20-year-old youth, like Jason, can backpack tirelessly, but as people age, their physical strength and adventurous spirit decline. In old age, the main focus of travel may just be leisurely walks. People often think that it is money that determines what kind of experiences we can have. However, the author believes that a more important factor is our ability to enjoy those experiences, which is closely related to age. Once, after earning their first bucket of gold, the author excitedly gave their grandmother $10,000. The result was that the only thing their grandmother bought with that money in the following year was a $50 sweater, and it was for the author. This was not because their grandmother was intentionally saving money, but because her vitality was not as strong as before, and her willingness and ability to spend money on experiences were limited. Therefore, the author reminds us that in order to make the most of our time and money in this lifetime, the timing of investing in experiences is crucial. It is not about spending money recklessly, but rather about carefully planning. How to plan? I have extracted these 4 suggestions from the book for your reference. First of all, the investment experience should start as early as possible. Here is the application of Warren Buffett's saying, invest early. Because the earlier you start investing, the longer you will have to reap investment returns. The rate of return on monetary investments may be positive or negative at times, but the experience of investing will definitely bring you continuous positive accumulation in your future life. Some people may worry, what if I don't have much money? How can I invest in experiences early on? In fact, investing in experiences doesn't necessarily require a lot of money. According to a survey conducted nationwide in the United States, activities that make people feel the happiest and receive the highest scores include sports, reading, chatting with family, playing with children, and so on, which don't require much money. Of course, they do require us to invest a certain amount of time. It should also be mentioned here that there is an additional benefit to investing in experiences early on. That is, when we are young and full of curiosity about the world, we can invest relatively little time and money and still gain great happiness. For example, the author's roommate Jason used to live in a cheap hostel and eat baguettes in the park, but he also gained experiences that he would remember for a lifetime. The book encourages us to explore these low-cost experiences. For instance, even if you don't have money or time to travel far, you can take public transportation or the subway to explore unfamiliar corners of your city. You can visit free art districts. You can go hiking, have picnics, play board games with friends in the suburbs, and so on. Many people have yet to fully explore these low-cost sources of happiness. However, it is important to note that investing early means starting to invest early in order to extend your investment return period, rather than concentrating all investments in the early years of life. In fact, as long as we plan well, we can explore experiences that are suitable for ourselves at any age, allowing time and money to maximize their effectiveness. This brings us to the second suggestion in the book about experiential investment, which is time segmentation. This is a simple tool that can help you sketch the rough outline of your desired life. You can take a piece of paper and draw a line to represent your life from now on. Then, divide this line into intervals, each interval representing 5 or 10 years, which actually corresponds to an age range, such as 30 to 35 years old, 35 to 40 years old. Then, think about what key experiences you want to achieve in your future life. For example, attending an outdoor music festival, running a marathon, applying for a patent, taking your children to Disneyland, dining at 10 different Michelin 3-star restaurants, taking a cruise to Alaska, reading 20 classic novels, and so on. Write down whatever comes to mind, and don't worry about this list being incomplete. You can update it anytime later. After listing the inventory, you need to think about when each of these experiences is suitable to achieve. Then allocate them to the corresponding age groups. In this way, maximize the efficiency of time and money for each age group as much as possible. Moreover, during the process, you may also realize that some experiences conflict with each other, or some experiences need to be planned from now on, otherwise it may be too late to achieve them. This can help us make good overall arrangements in the dimension of our lifetime. It can be said that time segmentation is a fundamental thinking framework for us in investment experience. On top of this framework, we can continue to optimize. This is where the third and fourth recommendations come in. The third point is to focus on investing in health. This is not in conflict with investing in experiences, because a good physical condition allows you to enjoy various experiences better. In the author's opinion, how much happiness we can gain from an experience mainly depends on three factors: health, wealth, and free time. Among these three factors, the impact of wealth and free time is temporary. Whether you have more or less money, more or less time at a certain point will only affect your experience at that time. However, the impact of health is continuous and will even magnify with age. For example, if a person doesn't pay attention to their health when they are young and neglects some underlying health issues, it will not only affect their enjoyment of experiences when they are young, but may also accelerate physical decline in the following years. Therefore, it is important to invest in health, such as improving dietary habits, regular checkups, engaging in preferred sports activities, and so on. Moreover, such investments should be started early. Speaking of the fourth point, it is called exchanging money for free time appropriately. Simply put, it means outsourcing tasks that consume time and give you a relatively poor experience. The most typical example is household chores. For instance, if you thoroughly clean the kitchen and bathroom yourself, it would take 6 hours. If you calculate your hourly wage at around 50 yuan while working, then an optional approach for you would be to spend 200 yuan to hire a cleaner to do the cleaning for you. In return, you can use that time to accompany your children to the park, read a book, or do anything that brings you more joy than cleaning the room. The author says that even when he had just graduated and had a low income, he would still adopt this strategy appropriately, which brought him a lot of happy weekends. As a person grows older and wealthier, and time becomes more valuable, this strategy should be used even more. This is not just the author's personal experience, but psychological research also shows that people who are good at spending money to save time, regardless of their income, have a higher life satisfaction than those with the same income. This is also reasonable, because when we spend money to free ourselves from tasks we don't like, not only do we have more time to experience more joyful things, but we also reduce many negative life experiences, naturally leading to a greater sense of happiness. Part 2. Okay, in the first part we talked about the first half of the optimization problem in life, which is how to maximize the feeling of happiness throughout one's life. However, we also know that this maximum can only be achieved under certain constraints. For each person, the maximum that you can achieve is often different from the maximum that I can achieve. However, the book tells us that there is a spending goal that can help each person maximize happiness within their own capabilities. That is what we mentioned at the beginning, the second half of the optimization problem, minimizing waste. Specifically, at the end of your life, it is best to have as little money left as possible. I know that, for us, at first hearing this idea, it may seem quite scary. Various questions may immediately pop up in our minds. What if I live a long life and run out of money? What if I get seriously ill in my old age? What about my children? Don't worry, we will address these concerns later. For now, let's first listen to the author's explanation of this idea. He said that due to his early training as an engineer, he has a habit of thinking in terms of efficiency and dislikes waste. He believes that one of the worst forms of waste for a person is wasting our life energy. Every penny we earn is exchanged for our life energy, so wasting our hard-earned money is wasting our life energy. If we don't want to waste our life energy, our ultimate goal should be to return to zero before death, which means spending all our money when our life ends. The author is not the first person to propose this idea. Nobel laureate in economics, Modigliani, once put forward a life cycle hypothesis that focuses on how people manage their expenses and savings throughout their lives in order to make the most of their money. The goal is also to spend all the money by the end of one's life. It may sound a bit extreme. And who can be so precise about it? Indeed, the zero balance before death mentioned in the book is just an idealized thought model, a directional goal. It doesn't mean that we should actually spend every penny before we die, but rather to minimize waste as much as possible. In this way, you can truly say that you have used your money to gain as many experiences and as much happiness as possible. Okay, we just talked about so much, which seems to correspond to a saying. Do you know what the most painful thing in life is? It's when someone dies and the money is not spent. Yes, this does partially express the author's meaning. However, you may also recall that this slang phrase has a following line. Do you know what the most painful thing in life is? It's when you're alive, but have no money. This is also a concern that many people have when facing the idea of minimizing waste. However, the book reassures us that this concern has already been taken into account in the financial market, and there are many solutions. For example, the most typical solution is to purchase annuity products. The principle is simple. When you have a fixed income, you can regularly or in a lump sum give a certain amount of money to an insurance company. Then, when you need retirement funds, you can receive a fixed amount of money from the insurance company every month. You can receive this money for as long as you live. This can greatly alleviate the worry of being alive, but having no money. Of course, there are many types of pension products, and everyone's health, wealth, risk tolerance, and other factors are different. Therefore, when it comes to ourselves, whether or not to buy, which type to buy, it is necessary to consult with professionals first. In addition to this, there is another concern that can also find a solution in the financial market, which is the risk of illness. Many people save money because they are afraid of having a large amount of medical expenses in their old age. To address this concern, various types of health insurance currently cover many situations. However, in the author's opinion, in addition to having good, back-end insurance like this, it is wiser to spend your expenses and time on the front end, which means spending on maintaining health and preventing diseases. For example, many health insurance companies encourage policyholders to undergo regular health screenings by offering gift cards and other incentives. This is certainly their effort to reduce claim expenses. However, you should not neglect your regular health maintenance just because you have insurance. The specific reasons and practices have already been discussed in the previous section. Focus on investing in health. Okay, after addressing these basic concerns, if you are interested in learning how to achieve the goal of minimizing waste, the book also provides practical suggestions. First of all, calculate your life expectancy. I know, this may sound a bit unpleasant. However, the author reminds us that just because we don't like something doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Having a rough estimate of life expectancy can help us plan our lives more consciously, rather than blindly pursuing money, saving, and spending with an ignorance is bliss mentality. How to calculate life expectancy? In fact, there are many ready-made calculators available. The author asked his friend in the American Actuarial Association, and they recommended a tool on the official website of the American Actuarial Association, called Actuarial Life Expectancy Chart. By answering a few questions, it can provide a chart showing the probability of living to different ages. I have also included the website address in the document. Of course, this is not the only option. Many life insurance companies that sell life insurance provide free online life expectancy calculators. They will ask for your age, gender, height, weight, smoking and drinking habits, family medical history, and other important predictive factors, such as wearing a seatbelt while driving, etc. After answering, the calculator will provide an approximate life expectancy estimate. This process also has an additional benefit, which is to remind us of the key factors that affect life expectancy, and what improvements we should make if we want to extend our lifespan. After making improvements, you can test again and the results may change. After obtaining an approximate life expectancy, what we need to do next is to determine our own net asset peak. This peak is not a specific amount of assets, but rather an age, such as 55, 57, or 60. Before reaching this age, it is the stage of accumulating wealth, where it is best to have monthly expenses lower than income. However, once this age is reached, it enters the stage of depleting wealth, where expenses exceed income. Why set such a peak? It's simple, because if your net worth keeps growing, then you definitely won't be able to achieve minimizing waste. You might end up losing out on many life experiences that you could have had, either by saving money excessively, or by constantly working. The book gives an example. A person digs a well, installs a water pump, and starts drawing water into a cup. The cup quickly fills up, and the water starts overflowing. After taking a sip, the person continues to draw water, repeating this process. Only at the end of their life do they realize that they spent their whole life drawing water, but never quenched their thirst. For them, this is a huge waste. Similarly, if a person only realizes on their deathbed that their life was lacking in happy experiences, they may feel a great deal of regret. Okay, back to the peak of net assets. Where is the appropriate location for this peak? The author and his friends in the finance industry have designed many hypothetical characters and conducted simulated calculations covering different health conditions, income growth rates, and interest rate environments. In the end, the conclusion is drawn: for most people, the optimal peak of net assets falls between the ages of 45 and 60. The specific choice of the peak is greatly influenced by health conditions. For individuals with strong physical health, the peak can be slightly delayed, up to the age of 60 or above, because their ability to enjoy various experiences declines at a slower pace. We assume that you have set your net asset peak at the age of 55. Therefore, before the age of 55, the author suggests that we use a dynamic version of the balanced financial formula to plan our expenses and savings. The balanced financial formula can be simply understood as deducting basic expenses such as loans, rent, utilities, and necessities from your monthly income, and then using 60% of the remaining money for personal experiences and 40% for savings or investments. However, in the author's view, not all age groups are suitable for this formula, and we need to make appropriate dynamic adjustments. For example, if you are very young and have many things to experience, and you expect your future income to increase, you can lower the savings ratio. However, if you have a period of time when you are not feeling well and cannot muster the energy to experience things, or as you age, you have fewer things you want to experience, then you can increase the savings ratio. In addition, the author also provided a reference formula regarding how much money is enough. That is, subtract your retirement age from your expected lifespan, and then multiply it by your estimated annual living cost after retirement. This cost mainly depends on where you want to live after retirement and what kind of lifestyle you choose. If you find this calculation too troublesome, in the book, Doing the Right Thing Again, that we interpreted before, there is also a basic formula for retirement savings, which is to multiply your current annual living expenses by 25. As for how to achieve this savings goal, it was also discussed in the audiobook. If you are interested, you can review it again. Okay, with the understanding of life expectancy, net asset peak, dynamic financial formula, and retirement savings formula, we can now tackle the issue of minimizing waste with a starting point. However, at this moment, you may still have a concern that hasn't been addressed. Even though it seems like I am optimizing my own life, is it too selfish? Shouldn't I leave something for my children? The answer in the book to this question is, of course, you can leave the money to the people you care about, such as your children. However, do you have to wait until after you die to give them this money? You can definitely create a plan to give them the money when it can bring the greatest benefit to your children. Once you have given it, this money has nothing to do with you anymore. The minimization of waste mentioned in the book refers to your own money, not including this amount. Why does the author give this suggestion? He explains that if we wait until after death to let our children inherit our estate, it's actually like leaving it to fate, at a random time, leaving them a random amount of remaining wealth. And how can randomness be considered truly beneficial for them? You won't be able to know how much utility this hard-earned money can provide them. Data shows that people mostly receive inheritances in their later years. However, this is often not the optimal time for them to enjoy and experience it. The author once conducted a survey online, asking, "At what age would you most like to receive an inheritance?" Thousands of people participated in the survey. More than half of the respondents chose the age range of 26 to 35, and nearly one-third chose 36 to 45. It is evident that if given the choice, most people do not want to wait until they are old and have little need for money to receive an inheritance. If we can give the money intended for our children, when they need it and are capable of enjoying it, we are actually helping them approach their optimal solution in life. In addition, there is a reminder in the book that I think is worth remembering. That is, the true legacy you leave for your children is not money, but the experiences you shared together. Especially, the teachings you give them during their growth and the wonderful memories of mutual companionship. Regarding this point, there is a story in the book that deeply touched me. The author has two daughters. When they were very young, they would often pull the author to watch an animated movie about the long-nosed monster. The author also enjoyed this time. But one day, when the author took the time and invited the younger daughter to watch the movie again, the 10-year-old daughter refused to watch it, because she thought it was only for kids. The author said that if someone had warned him in advance that there would be such a day, he would probably have made the most of his time and spent more time with them. Unfortunately, in reality, it is difficult to know on which day you can no longer continue to have a certain experience. In a certain sense, actually each of us will experience death countless times in our lifetime. What this means is that each stage of you has a limited duration. For example, the version of you as a college student, as a single and unmarried person, as a new parent, as a strong and healthy individual, they cannot exist indefinitely. Perhaps, the term death doesn't sound very pleasant. So, we can use a different term, which is that we are constantly moving forward, transitioning from one stage of life to the next. In each stage, it's as if we have a brand new life, where we can gain new experiences and live to the fullest. Just like how the author and his daughters shared the stage of the long-nosed monster in their lives, which will never return. However, he can still enjoy other life experiences with them, such as watching them play soccer, appreciating their dance performances, taking them on trips, and so on. Of course, they will grow up one day, and this stage will also pass, and a new stage will begin. However, no matter which stage, the story of the long-nosed monster will never stop being performed. Therefore, the author says that in every stage of life, he will seriously ask himself, in this stage, what is your long-nosed monster? Have you grasped it well? Okay, the above is the main content that I want to share with you. This book is actually a unique guide to a wealthy life. Its focus is not on teaching you how to increase wealth, but on teaching you how to enrich your life. The author, leveraging his engineering background, transforms the question of how to spend money without regrets throughout one's life into an optimization problem. Specifically, it is about maximizing the happiness in life while minimizing waste. Regarding how to maximize the feeling of happiness, the author believes that your life is the sum of your experiences. Furthermore, the timing of these experiences is crucial. Therefore, we should value investing in experiences and start planning for different stages of life as early as possible. As for how to minimize waste, the author proposes the concept of pursuing zero before death and provides tools such as expected lifespan calculation, peak net assets, dynamic financial formula, and retirement savings formula. Zeroing out before death is an idealized model. At the end of the book, the author acknowledges that this is almost an impossible task to accomplish. Even if we strictly follow every suggestion in the book, it may still be impossible to achieve in the end. But that doesn't matter. Because the true significance of this goal lies in guiding us towards the pursuit of an optimal solution for life. It encourages us to think more carefully and consciously about our own lives, rather than passively earning, spending, and saving money. A life of going with the flow may be easy, but it can cause our life energy to unknowingly drain away. On the other hand, a thoughtful and deliberate life may require effort, but it allows us to wisely allocate our limited life energy, not just in terms of money, but also time. None of us can achieve perfection, but undoubtedly we should all cherish this one opportunity of life. This book reminds us that life is a process of constantly collecting experiences. So from now on, think more about how to use limited time and money to gain more experiences of happiness. Then, it can be certain that you will lead a fulfilling life. Congratulations on finishing another book. Thank you for your support. Please subscribe to our Wisdom Planet audiobook channel. Like and share it with family and friends. Wisdom worth spreading and opening up a better future. Thank you and see you again.